we're going to talk about the Democratic primaries next. And I'm going to do the same thing we did with the Trump first year, because there's too many. But there's like 20 people. So I'm just going to say a name and get quick takes, basically. And I'm going to start on Warren. And Anthony, I know you're a Warren supporter in the general, and I think we should fight about
it. We should fight about it. You know, I think she had the most real world experience. We were talking earlier about supposedly how long Hillary Clinton had been in. She had actual long-term experience, and
Absolutely. She
wanted to push what was going on further left, which is all right with me.
Yeah.
So that is why I was for she. So with all of her experience, she saw like, hey, we still need to push this thing further. We still need to do.
Buddy, get a little more in frame again. You're cutting off. I can only see I can't see your eyebrows.
I'm sorry. My production assistant has left me, so Lillian's in the room. I don't know what's going on.
You just fixed it. I don't know who I'm talking to if I don't see your dreads. So yeah, I think that she could she was definitely to the left, helped move the party to the left, definitely had great debate performances, definitely had great real world experience. All of the little the things in that I wanted out of Hillary Clinton, only she had actually had them, and and I think she very promptly squandered every one of them. I think with the Pocahontas thing, I'm just saying she could have left that alone. She didn't.
And if she weren't a woman, would you be all right with her? I can't leave. I got to fight. We're talking about Trump is president, so he can't leave anything alone. He picks it up and he tweets. So if she weren't a woman and she's like, well, you know what? I can't leave that. It's like talking about my mother. I got to go after you. I got to slap you.
I was for Bernie Sanders in the general, or in the primary. So I personally, I know you think he's too old, but I listen to everything he says. So I know that no matter, what she did, she could never have won the presidency because she's a woman.
Yes. So, all right, there you go. No matter what she did, she couldn't win because she was a woman.
But you remember that controversy where supposedly Bernie Sanders told Elizabeth Warren in private, no, you can't win because you're a woman. That sounds much like Bernie Sanders.
I believe her. I believe he said it. And I believe
it's irrelevant. Maybe you said it. Why make that a public issue when you're the only two candidates that are fighting for Medicare for all? You're the only left coalition that you even have anything, and she decides to pick a fight with him.
Because you're fighting for it, first of all. So you're saying that she should have dipped. She should have said, all right, okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and have it.
I think there was a point. Yeah, but dude, why? I'm saying attack the moderates. Why not just attack the moderates until you see which ones is better, is more ahead, and then one drops out, endorses the other. They got to be strategic, and Bernie was not as strategic as he should have been either. But sure. I'm just saying, I think Warren was just a really bad politician the whole time, considering how much she had, to bring to the table,
If the Democrats were good, they wouldn't have to worry about that. They would have gotten somebody through in 2016. They would have gotten Hillary Clinton, wouldn't have been the Sanders fighter. After they lost that, if they were good, they would have been putting a candidate or pushing someone up front right after that, instead of waiting for all of it, for whatever the field was, the party field, 20 people or something. They would have been pushing some people right after they lost 2016. So the Democratic Party has not been good at getting things. They haven't. They just have not been good at getting things done.
Yeah, but Warren is a big part of that, and we would probably be
Sure.
We
Yes.
would probably have as part of our if we kept on fighting, like we probably could have had Medicare for all as part of the party platform. And as a result of her bad political moves and Bernie Sanders too, but
Yes.
Bernie also moved the party to the left more than any other candidate in modern history.
But it was a fight. They should have been doing it in 2016. By the time we came to 2019, we should have already had one or two people that we were firmly behind. They were ready to go. It would have cost a lot less money to do. We'd have been fighting a long time ago. We wouldn't have wasted energy. We would have exposed so much of Trump's things long ago. They should have been doing that. And so if, let's hope it doesn't happen, they lose this election, do we have somebody that we're pushing forward? It won't be Kamala Harris because she's a woman.
Well,
and
that leads me to the next thing. Who was the most insufferable candidate to you? One name.
You know, the one name.
One name. If you can
just
pronounce it, I have my answer.
I just have petty stuff for people after that because. Come
on, one name.
Yeah, one name.
Who was the worst one?
Maybe Cory Booker. I don't know.
Oh, Cory Booker. I forgot about Cory Booker. No, the most
I'm with you on that, Anthony, too.
What's that?
I don't like Cory Booker, but the most annoying person has to stay in the fight longer than Cory Booker did. And at least he had a cute girlfriend show up to Rosario.
God.
Yeah. So Rosario Dawson was good eye candy, at least for that. Pete Buttigieg was the answer we were looking for. Most insufferable candidate. I didn't like him one bit. I thought he would have been a disaster in the general, not because he's gay, just because he's annoying.
You've always been a homophobe, okay?
I know, seriously.
For 8 years.
Well, the people that hated him the most, it seems like, were my gay friends. So I'm representing that perspective right now.
He was a bad representative, yeah.
I want to go to Mike and Andrew for a minute. Did either of you guys like Andrew Yang? He had some conservative crossover appeal.
Yeah, Andrew Yang. Every time he said, "I'm the only candidate that appeals to Republicans, Democrats, and Libertarians," I said, "No, you do not." And every time he advertised that we need an Asian guy who's good at math to be president, I said, "Great, do you know any?" Because I don't think he had it. But going back to what you guys...
Is that an indictment of the universal basic income?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and his misunderstanding of libertarian support for it. But also its feasibility under the way in which he wanted to implement it. But I did want to point out, since misogyny keeps coming up, but I haven't brought it up, that unlike all you misogynistic pussy grabbers, I am voting for a woman this year.
Well, you must admit that, we have, you must admit we have about enough money at any given point for to give to wars and big banks and whatever. I mean, $1,000 a month compared to that doesn't seem like too insane.
No, it's not too insane, and especially if you cut those things to do it. That was never his plan.
Well, I think it was his plan for some of it. He was, but he maybe wanted to cannibalize
that tax on top of all the existing taxes to pay for it.
Right. But he also cannibalized welfare a little bit, and that was criticism he had from the left.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, Andrew, did you like Yang or Gabbard? I should bring Tulsi Gabbard into this too, because she's the other one who enjoyed some success across the political spectrum, but in very other ways.
I definitely, Mike pretty much covered what I think about Yang, especially the UBI. I think it would be a good, as was already mentioned, a good solution to the welfare state. But since it wasn't presented as such, just more waste of our money and more of a tilt towards soft socialism. In terms of Gabbard, I think she would have been the best opponent for Donald Trump. But in terms of, I'm not a fan, but it would have been a choice for me if Gabbard was running against Donald Trump in the general.
Well, you should ask who the best candidate against Donald Trump should be to everybody's dad, because they were all saying Klobuchar. I
was
do not understand why.
I think Gillibrand or Gabbard.
Gillibrand is interesting. She was in for some of her ads. She said she was basically like making her fundraising events have some whiskey with Gillibrand, which appealed to me. Partially as a bartender, but also partially really wanting to get a presidential candidate drunk. And whiskey works the quickest on that.
And I also would disagree with you. I think Buttigieg would have been a good opponent for Trump too.
Okay. Mike, did you have any thoughts on Sanders in general? Or I imagine you think the same thing as you thought about Yang?
Well, Andrew said exactly what I've said about Sanders this entire time, is he would have won in 2016, but he wouldn't have been able to win in 2020. I think the Democrats, as far as running against Trump, did the best they could do with Biden. I think he thinks he's going to win. I think Klobuchar could have won too. My favorite was Tulsi.
Sanders also sold out a lot in terms of some of his positions between not during 2016, but since 2016.
Is it cold?
And
who was your respect? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were.
And also the fact that he endorsed, I know he had to, but the fact that he endorsed Hillary really rubbed me the wrong way in 2016. And I'm sure it rubbed a lot of people that would have voted for Sanders in 2020 that wouldn't have, because that happened.
Interesting. Which candidate in the primary were your least favorites?
Well, like I had agreed with Cory, with Anthony, Cory Booker. Didn't like. I also found Harris to be quite insufferable during the campaign too. She had one good performance, then dropped like a rock after that because she couldn't hang. And she's just, in general, she's the term Karen usually applies to white blonde women. But I think the meme applies to her. She's just a Karen of a different color.
In what way?
She's the PTA board mom that just wags her finger and tells you you're misbehaving. That's exactly how she comes off.
Is it possible that, like Anthony was talking about earlier, like if she were a man and said all the exact same things, how would you feel about her then? Like a man,
I would absolutely consider her. I would absolutely consider a man the same way I consider her behaving the same way.
But would you call him a Karen?
Yeah, would you call?
No, I wouldn't call him a Karen. I'd call him some other name that's pertinent for a guy that's a Karen.
What is but there is no term for a guy that's a Karen, really. Is there? A Chad?
Well, I don't think Chad doesn't work either, but I mean, there's also the factor that I don't think a lot of guys act that way. Just
Anthony.
Yes.
Where have you been? You just missed Andrew calling Kamala Harris Karen of a different color.
Well, I had to put the girls to bed and pee. So,
what did you think of
Kamala Harris, a Karen?
Right. Yeah, Karen of a different color.
All right, I'm going to tell you why that's not possible. Because she went to an HBCU And if there's anybody who's down to what's going, what kind of kicks in the teeth that black men have to get, it would be somebody from Howard University she's from, and someone from her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Although my family's Delta, historically black sorority, there's no way she's a Karen. She may be a bougie black. People call me a bougie black. That's all right with whatever. But Karen, no way.
Bourgeoisie black.
Bougie. You got to say it right, Jack. Bougie.
No. I'm using the communist way to say it. Bourgeoisie black.
Say it the street way.
Do you think that she's been the victim in the primary or now of misogyny or racism, like you in the same way you thought Elizabeth Warren or Hillary Clinton was?
Yeah, of course. I mean that goes without saying.